Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the J Free 906 podcast. Shannon and Mike here with you, along with myself, Jeff Freeman, and we're going to be talking about the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, season 5, episode number 6, which I thought was another great one. What do you guys think?
Another head scratcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was going along well, pretty well, and then at the end, I was like, "What?" Yeah.
I thought we were getting a kind of maybe like one of a calmer episode where it's like, oh, this is mid-season, just about. Maybe we won't have anything too big, and then bam, right at the end.
And then damn, yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you folks for being here with us tonight. We really appreciate all of you showing up here with us. Somebody asked earlier in the chat, can we ask questions? And I thought, yes, absolutely you can. I can't guarantee I will see it. We have Linda helping out tonight. Christina has the night off, and so Linda is helping this evening with the chat. So thank you very much, Linda, for that. And so you'll see her pop up things from time to time, and you'll see her pop in and say something on the chat. And it always has my name on it. StreamYard hasn't quite figured that one out yet. But anyway, so that'll be her talking with you guys tonight. And then, of course, Jan did our notes for tonight. Thank you very much, Jan, for all that hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as you saw, right, I'm not Jeff. Yeah, there you go. And as you saw, Linda was putting up some different ways you could help to support the show. We really appreciate so much all the help that we get and those that help support us. And you saw some of the names there. I've got to add to that list because there are a few new ones. But really appreciate that also very, very much. It helps to keep the podcast alive. You can also get one of these cool mugs right here. Oh, look there. Yeah, he's got his. And
I don't have one though. Just imagine.
I'm gonna have to fix that.
Yeah. Well, I need to fix that. Yeah.
But you can also get one of these fancy hats. Now these are the original ones we had with the J Free 906 podcast logo on it. We also have now white, and we also have black and navy.
Oh, so, you're expanding your selection.
Yes, exactly. Yes. When I've got to make sure I take some to Phenomicon again this year. I'm wearing my Phenomicon paraphernalia tonight.
I see that.
Yeah, I'm all Phenomiconed out. I can't wait because it's coming up in September. And for those of you who have not ever been there, you need to go if you can. It's an awesome event. In Vernal, Utah, you get to see all the guys out there. And that is where I met Jim and Roger. I see Jim popping up. Yes, Phenomicon, Mr. Taco himself, Jim Kelgard. And real quick, I'll tell you, Jim and Roger are going to be, they're doing their best to try to do short recaps of Skinwalker Ranch episodes. They're failing miserably at trying to keep it short. And I knew they would. But they are doing a great job, and they also have they're going to be doing Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, and I may be joining them on a few as we go along through the season. Normally I would do it, but I've got a hectic schedule going this summer, really do, and so those guys are going to be handling the Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, and I am honored to join them from time to time and talk Beyond Skinwalker Ranch. So check them out. It's the Soul of the Unexplained, SOL, Soul of the Unexplained. They're on YouTube. They also have, I believe, Jim, do you have a Facebook page as well? He is a Raiders fan. So yeah. I'm a San Diego Charger, San Diego's LA Chargers now, but and they don't like the Raiders. So anyway, so we're here tonight. We're going to be talking the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, and it is episode number 6, Beaming Up. And another really, really good episode, I thought. I was, again, there's so many different times. Oh, you are on Facebook too. Cool. Thank you. We get these guys starting off this particular episode. You got Mike and Alex from Mark Construction showing up out there, and the guys have stepped it up. Everybody keeps asking, when are they going to drill into that Mesa? You've seen that they've had some failure attempts at it. 2 times trying to drill into it, from the ground level. I was hot shot Drilling. Is that who? I think that was the name of
Sounds right.
the previous company, Hot Shot. Um, and they've got a nice rig. They know what they're doing, but they were unable to get past this anomaly, this hard surface that they were hitting about 400
The
feet.
something that's in the Mesa. That's
Yes,
what,
something that's in the
whatever that is. It's
well,
something, and they
yeah,
can't get to it.
they can't get to it, and so you saw them bring out when they were with Hot Shot. They found these pieces of metal. Here's a look back that they were doing last night, and they found these they found these pieces of metal, and you heard Travis talk about the fact that they were a makeup of tellurium and europium. I had some that in there, which is stuff that's used for heat shielding on the space shuttle and stuff like that. So interesting metals that they would find in there.
Mhm.
And this is that anomaly, and it's about, I guess it's about 400 feet in. Is that what they were saying, roughly? Into the
No, they said it was like 300 feet, 350 feet long.
okay. Oh yeah,
Big-
400 foot. Yeah, foot
Yeah.
long. Um, and so they wanted to drill into it, but interestingly enough, rather than drill straight at it and right into it, you heard what they were saying, and I thought it was really, really cool. They don't want to damage it. Did you catch that part of it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
thought that was pretty innovative to do 2 drill holes on either side
yeah.
so they could first study it.
Mhm.
Although I will say, it looks like whatever's inside of there may already be damaged. Just being honest.
Yeah, if it's a
Just a
debris
bit.
field, yeah, it might
It'll buff
If
right
it's a
out.
debris, yeah, that's right. Maybe they can put it back together again once it comes out of
Yeah.
the Mesa.
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really, I think this was, like you said, I think that was very innovative to try to come on it. Sure shot. Oh, yeah, something like that. Hot shot, sure shot. But really a great idea to try to come in on both sides of it, of what the GPR told them, the ground penetrating radar told them that was in there. And so they are trying to come in on either side. And did you catch the tech that they were talking about? That they were they wanted these holes to be start off with 6 inch, but then go to 18. Is that what he was saying?
Yep. 18
Mhm.
inch. Yeah.
And then they were going to put tech. They were going to line it with a. So I know it's in the notes here. This liquid, like a gel
Concrete. Yep.
Yeah.
So as long as it was non-metallic, because
Yes.
they want to be able to send signals through or X-rays through, or couldn't be metal.
Right.
So yeah, and I thought that was really cool. I mean, here's here's like the artist rendition of what they're going to try to do these 2 drill holes. Now, one thing I caught that they mentioned on here that I hadn't realized before, and you see how these lines here, the 2 orange lines, are actually going in and then upward. They do actually want the drill to poke out in the top of the mesa, down in, on the flat surface a little ways of the mesa, just down a little ways. They do want it to come out. I hadn't realized that before. But they want to put this tech down in there and then be able to scan this anomaly on both sides, which I thought was really, I mean, if they can pull that off, that's great. I mean, that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Somebody said in chat too, it may be because they don't think they can drill into it, so there's no point.
Right.
So let's go on either side, get a better picture. Because if you remember, Jan said that his representation, that 3D representation, isn't necessarily how it looks.
Mhm.
That's what the data saw, or that's what the instrument saw.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a perfect representation. So I think going on either side of it is a fantastic way to go about it. Get a little bit more information.
Mhm. Exactly.
There's no rush.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
So, and this was kind of the 3D representation of it here in this picture. And you can kind of see that it does have depth and width and depth and everything to it. And they did miss that center portion. We talked about that just a little bit, the center portion. It was simply because of the gap in the GPR scanning. You see this
Mhm.
line here and this line here so far apart, and I think that's why. I think this is connected all the way through.
Yeah, I
What
would
this is,
imagine so.
we don't know.
That again, that a good explanation from Jan that hey, it doesn't mean that there is a gap. I mean, that's kind of what he was talking about. Doesn't necessarily look just like this, but this is what he had from the instrumentation that he was using.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad that they really are, hell bent on getting in here and seeing what this is, and I'm really glad. Remember, and so because so many people have said, "Drill, get in there. Why are you wasting time? Get in there, blow it up." No, we don't want to blow it up. That would be the ludicrous way of going about this. And so many people have mentioned that. It's like, come on, think about that.
That's everybody's favorite go-to, actually.
Right.
Just blow the Mesa up. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
where's the fun in that? Blowing the Mesa up blows what's in the Mesa up.
as
Right.
well.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then, you've seen Thomas get up and he had, showing his drawing that he put on the screen there of what they want to do so that the guys in the room, they didn't see this fancy thing here. The guys in the meeting, they didn't get to see this. That was for us on TV only. So he drew his idea of what it is. And I'm glad that he did because it shows exactly the idea. And you see how far in it has to go to be able to, if it's 400 feet long, then they've got twice that far. I don't know. I'm not. I say twice that far. I don't know how far it is. They got a lot longer than 400 feet to go to get in there. So it is going to be a long, but 18 inches. Wow, that's massive.
It's a
That's
good
a massive
size.
hole.
Yeah. Right.
And you got to hope that it never. Well, once they get it lined, I suppose that concrete material will hold up and keep it, from collapsing.
That's
Yeah. You sure.
exactly what I was gonna say. Like they have to be so careful to make sure that it stays stable
Hmm.
to not collapse.
In a
That
Yeah,
would be a
very
nightmare.
unstable Mesa.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
You
that's
hope
right.
it's strong enough.
Especially in
Mhm.
that particular area of it. You see
Right.
all the
Mhm.
other parts of the mesa look pretty still rocky. I mean, held together, and that portion
Yep.
there is just collapsed upon itself. So,
Because it's not like it's going to be reinforced concrete. It's just going to be
correct.
a seal to kind of help keep the shape.
Yeah, exactly. So they get the rig out there and they bring it out and set it up. And just looking at this thing, it's twice the size of the again hot shot, sure shot, whatever the name of the other guys were. And I'm so sorry I forgot that. But you see the size of this thing, quite a bit bigger. They go over and they get it into position and they start to drill. Now here's a picture of that lining that they want to put in the 18-inch hole. Just a quick picture of that so they can be able to put their electronics in there. And I think it's so cool that it has this beacon and it sends out the drill head. Right behind the drill head, it has a beacon in it. Go ahead, Shannon.
I was gonna say it reminds me of like what they use for sonar underwater to detect
Ah,
things. That's exactly what they do. That they can detect, like when they went looking for that submarine, which feels like forever ago, but not that long ago. Um, this is what they did. They sent out those signals to see if it bounces back to get another shape as well. Which they're doing it. I'm sure to pick up more than just that, but it's a really interesting technology
oh,
to go
absolutely.
with.
Absolutely. How else would they really truly know where the drill head is if they did not have this technology to be able to
Right.
track it? So I thought, and that was something, not being somebody that's familiar with that kind of drilling and stuff, I had no idea, but um, it makes total sense. However, that particular unit, and here's the signal it was putting out
There's
36050.
always a however at Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes, there is, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Um, Yeah, this particular this is the frequency that it uses for the beacon, 36.050 36 megahertz. Um, and while they started drilling, sure shot. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. While they're digging or drilling, they picked up another frequency all of a sudden at 31 megahertz, 31.1. Um, and you heard Travis. Travis has been, he's an astrophysicist him and Eric, they've been looking at frequencies for a long time, much longer than they've been on Skinwalker Ranch. And you heard Travis mention, I have never seen a frequency like this before. And what he's talking about, in my opinion, without talking to Travis about this, was the fact that you look at this one here. Okay. You got the carrier signal is at 36.050. That's the carrier signal. And then you've got a little bit of, the sideband going on here a little bit on both sides. But it's pretty much a straight line. Then you look at this one, and then you see like this one, it's all over the place.
That reminds me of the eye living picture from the side, actually, to be honest with you.
That's right. It does.
It does. It looks like that. I mean, it doesn't look exactly like that, but it does. Like the shape of it does. That's interesting.
I had not thought of that. That's interesting. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But you don't normally see frequencies that are just wacky like that. I mean, you know more about that kind of stuff too, Mike. I mean, what's your take on that? Have you?
Yeah, I don't get anything. I don't know.
I don't either. We're gonna have to talk to Travis and find out.
I'm gonna have to phone a friend on that one. I mean, it does look like, you see how it looks like quarters stacked on top of each other in the lower section.
Yeah.
So that's a wide pulse, and it's moving. It's not anything I've ever seen. I had, like I said, I'm gonna have to phone a friend, and I didn't have time to before from last night till now. That I know some ham radio operators that have been doing it a long time, and just throw that in front of them and say, "Hey, what do you think? What's this?"
Yeah. To me, it looks like, and I was a radioman in the Navy, and it's, of course, that was many, many years ago, and I haven't messed with that kind of stuff since then much. But to me, it looks like when you have a transmitter that you have crystals inside and everything like that, but it has one that it's walking. It's just not, it can't set on the frequency that you've asked it to transmit on. It's oscillating back and forth. It's having issues, and it needs to be repaired.
That's exactly what it looks like. And that's what, I mean, when you're looking at like an EEG, when they walk, it's the same exact thing. It's just like, it's just walking, right? Like it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Right.
So the question would be why, I suppose. Like, what would cause it to give you a walk like that?
I don't know. Something trying to stop you from doing what you're doing.
Yeah, normally, and I can only reference it in terms of like when you do an EEG, when you see walking, that means that we've got a connectivity issue with one of the lines.
Yes.
So I'm sure it translates similarly to radio frequency and stuff. But generally it means that like something's interfering with the literal line. Like that's what we're checking. So great minds, Beth.
Yep. Exactly.
So are there like a list of reasons why a radio, like a frequency or signal like that, would walk when it comes to this specific type of thing?
Not that I know of, other than crystals going bad. It's just not locking in on a particular frequency. It's leaking or whatever, and it's not allowing you to. But I've not seen anything quite like that. Yeah, generally transmitters do not do that unless they're broken. And they didn't have any idea. He said, and I heard Travis say, and somebody made a comment, I think Sam had said something about, it got more than what in the crap out of Travis on this particular one. He had no idea. He had no idea what it was, where it came from, why. I was hoping they would do the same thing like they did last time they were drilling and back off and see if it stopped. Right. And then push again. And they may have, and they just didn't show us this time.
Maybe it was something trying to break it.
Yeah, it could be. And I remember also when they were getting those harmonics last time. They had the main signal that they were getting, and then all the harmonics on the side. It was just crazy, but interesting enough that they had no idea where it was coming from, and it was started as soon as they started drilling. There's just an overhead shot of the drill setup. Actually, that's probably when they were getting ready to go and dump the spoils. Here's a look, and I grabbed this picture because as we talked about how unstable this section of the Mesa is, that's it right there. You're looking at all that rock that has collapsed in that section. So it's pretty unstable to begin with. You have to be very careful when you're over there working for sure. Here's the two side by side, and you can just see the difference there. I mean, really stands out. Um, and that's that little.
So
Go ahead. Go ahead.
taking the same logic of like the eye living, for
Mhm.
example, if we look back at that last picture, it's interesting because I suppose you could take the drill beacon one, right?
Mhm.
And you could mess it up to make it look like that.
Yeah, you could. And maybe something was, and it was sending the signal back to them.
But it was coming back to them jumbled. I don't know. I see
Jumbled
Mike's eyes. What are you thinking, Mike? Mike's thinking no.
I was squinting to try and see the signals a little bit better on there and see how wide the drill
Right?
beacon is. See how wide that frequency is compared to. I don't know. It spreads out a little bit, but see
Well, I
if
mean, if you
there's
look
some
at all
correlation
of
between the
them,
two.
if you look at all of the data
Yeah.
next to one another, though they are they're larger on the unknown than they are even in the regular ones, right? And we're in
Yeah.
a different we're at 31 opposed to 36.
Right. Right.
It does make me wonder though.
Yeah. You
But the
know, and
scale is the
yeah,
same in both. The horizontal scale is the same.
correct.
So the width would be comparable.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah. It just seemed like it was floating all over the place. And the neat thing too, is that I thought about when I saw this, and remember when they were listening to it, Caleb and Travis were listening to this. He said, "Let's listen to it," and they played it back, and he said, "It sounds just like the signal we received in the East Field," and it did
Hmm.
have a communication style sound to it that I've heard. You know, and again, going back to my Navy days, being a radioman, it does have that communication because it's almost like that also you can hear the carrier, but you can also hear the data being carried in it almost. That's what it kind of sounded like to me. I was thinking, and I thought, I hope they're recording this because this is one of those things that I keep wondering. And I go back to the movie Contact and the signals that they were carrying. In that carrier signal, it had all kinds of data being sent in that carrier signal. So that's
I was
why I'm thinking, I'm hoping they're recording this.
I was just talking about that movie today, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Love
that's
that movie.
interesting. Huh.
Hmm. So that was what I was thinking. I'm thinking, okay, so you need to record this and you need to do everything you can to try to decipher the signal because there may be something in there. It may be trying to communicate with you. It may be taking the signal you're sending with the drill beacon and sending it back to you and using it to send back a message.
This would be an interesting one for Eric to try to reproduce, right? Like mess with to see what he could do to the original
Yeah.
signal to make it do this. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. This shows the little the receiver the guy was holding, and they didn't get very far. They were
No.
only about 9 feet down and what, about 40 feet in? Is that what he said?
Yep.
And so they weren't getting anywhere, and they were already up against the hard surface. Now, when you remember when Thomas asked the guys when were getting set up if they were going to use the old hole from straight shot or sure shot, sorry,
Sure shot. Hot shot, straight shot, sure shot.
I'm gonna mess
All
this
the
up.
shots.
I'm
No,
so
we
sorry.
got you. It's all right.
Um, yeah. Oh, there's Robert Davies. Hey, Robert. The drill beacon has a very clear repeating peaks every 250 hertz.
Mm-hmm.
The unknown signal has very blurry peaks at what looks like 125 hertz intervals. Yes, indeed. Um, so he wondered. Thomas was asking the guys if they were going to use the sure shot drill borehole that they had used, and they said, "Nope, nope. We're going to go right next to it. We're going to
Jaeger shot.
Jagged. Ooh, no, not for me. Thank you. Um, and they said no, they're going to create their own. Okay. And they didn't get, the other guys were in over 100 feet, 140 feet in there before they had were pushing up against something that they could not get through. And these guys only get about 40 feet, and their rig is set up to be twice the drill pressure as Sure Shot. Sure Shot was about 8,000 pounds, and these guys were putting, what was it, 10 to 12 to 14,000. They were pushing up against it, not even at full capacity, and they were getting nowhere.
Yeah, they could go up to 60,000.
Yeah.
60,000 pounds was their max.
Yeah.
So they weren't even, they weren't, they were definitely doing more than the last rig though. Mm-hmm. And to not be able to get into whatever it is, that really, like you said, that wasn't in very far.
No. No. And that's crazy because, so it makes you wonder, did the anomaly move, or did their repositioning, they hit, remember what Travis, I think it was Travis, had said that maybe it was hitting one of those pieces that were the debris field, what he was calling the debris field. You saw all those little anomalies all around the main structure in the middle, and he thought maybe they were hitting one of those and up against it. Thankfully, they said they're going to move and reposition and go back a little bit and go deeper and try to come up under it. And so I thought, okay, let's see that. Of course, it wasn't on this particular episode. But one thing I thought of was that let's do something. I thought, well, why not go and use the other hole? Back it out, dump your spoils, but then go and use Sure Shot's borehole and try to go in it. You know it went in further. So why not try and use it and see what happens? Just
maybe they will. Maybe they have, and we'll see it in the next one when we
exactly
see what happens with it all.
Mm-hmm. So they got ahead. They went ahead and they dumped the spoils, and they got the chocolate milk out of there.
Ew, gross.
Oh yeah, so they go through and they got the little screen that Thomas probably made that, and got that, dumped it all in there, and they were able to go through the spoils. At what angle do the drill heads have to approach the rock face to be efficient in drilling into it? Perhaps there's a pocket of fallen rocks like the face of the Mesa. It was hitting awkward. It could be.
Yeah. You'd have to hit it pretty straight on to be able to bore through it.
Yeah.
So if it's angled at all, it makes sense that it's getting deflected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you heard and I remember what Thomas had said too, is that the angle that when it hit and it was going up, and it was going up at such an angle that it was going to pop out in the middle of the mesa on its way up the mesa. It wasn't even going to get anywhere near the top. It was going to pop right back out. So they're like, okay, this isn't going to work. We got to back out of here. So we'll see what happens. But again, that's you wonder what's causing it. Now these rigs have to be capable of drilling through any of that rock that's available on the mesa, I would think. Without
you would think. But now it makes me wonder, because of that hot rock that was that we see later on. I wonder what would happen. I wonder what would happen if they tried to drill into that hot rock and see if there's anything inside of that.
That would be interesting.
I mean, I suppose it could very much look like rock that's fallen on the inside and not.
I would imagine so. Yeah, same stuff.
That's interesting to think about. Wouldn't that be something? It's just sitting in plain sight, just a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a rock. It just looks like a rock.
Drill into it. They go, wow, we cannot drill into this rock.
I know. They're like, wait a second, we can't drill into anything here.
Either you guys are really bad at this, or
Yeah, that's it.
Hot rock. Yeah, Pete's new nickname. I love that.
That's it. Hot rock, brown sock. That's what we got.
Brown sock.
We'll have to tell him whenever he comes on.
That's going to carry for a long, long time. Hot rock, brown socks.
That's right. like a
So
Dr. Seuss rhyme.
so they're digging in the spoils. They're looking for anything they can find. Now, remember, this one said that these guys were talking about the fact that this really grinds everything up more so than Sure Shot's drill would. And so they were looking for minute pieces, very small pieces. And lo and behold, they found a couple. There was more. There was more than one because there was another one in his hand that I took a picture of that was a little different than this one. So obviously they found a few. We
Teeny
don't
tiny
know.
bits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Teeny tiny bits. So yeah, that's one of the little specimens right there. So we'll have to find out how far away is the hot rock from the entry point. It's close. It's close. It was a little bit more to the east, right? The hot rock, I think, was. They said it was
It's pretty
near
close.
where the anomaly or the UAP came out of the mesa, very close to that, which was east of the triangle. And we know that the area that they're drilling is around the corner to the west of the triangle, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Leanne, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And I enjoy you too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It so helps. So they did get, we'll get this analyzed. This, even though it's a little pebble. Yes, he did. You're right, Michelle. He did ID it and saying the rock was at the point and the exit point of the anomaly, the UAP that they saw. So they'll get that analyzed and we'll go from there. And lo and behold, there he is, Pete Kelsey. We're very happy to see him back on the show. Yay.
Mm-hmm. I was
The
like,
man, the
Pete!
myth, the legend. I know.
I
Good
know.
to see him.
There he is. I'm so happy he was back out there. I mean, he can't stay away. It's in his blood now. He is part of the ranch now. Whether he
I think
wants
he's described it as being his white whale, is what he
Yes.
has said.
Yes.
it is his white whale. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Yes, I'm so glad to see him back out there. So we'll see more about this whole drilling going on. Hopefully next week we'll see some more as they push on. Obviously they do because we never got to the jelly part that we've seen in the previews where Dragon is holding this gelatin in his hand. I wonder if they tasted it or smelled it or tasted it.
Why? Why is that? You wonder that?
Yeah, you got it.
Mhm.
No. Nope.
Nope.
All right, just do analysis on it. Fine.
Mm-mm.
I would at least smell it. See if it has what kind of a fragrance it has.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not going there, huh? All right. So,
Mm-mm.
but
No.
we know that they're going to be doing some more because obviously that's coming up in a future episode. So we'll get to see. And I'm really curious. Judy, thank you so much, Judy. Appreciate that. Thank you. So we'll get to see what happens in a future episode as they continue this drilling program. And hopefully it won't take too long to actually get in there. But I mean, so what happens? What would your take from either of you be if they simply cannot drill into there and reach the anomaly? I mean, what I to me, I'd be going, okay, there's definitely something in there preventing them, stopping them from getting that far in. If every attempt that they make at this fails.
Yeah, it's like the telescope thing, the telescope event, something circumventing every effort they make to do a certain thing. You got to kind of assume you're hitting it close to the mark. If everything you're trying related to a specific task or project like this is met with interference of some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on how much they want to tear up the mesa because technically they could do it slowly and they could just start wearing away at it bit by bit by bit, literally manually, no equipment involved, removing these rocks to get sort of an idea as to what's in there. But short of that, I don't know. I don't know what they would do if they can't get it figured out.
I think I would go back to what they just hit because that's not that far in, 40 feet.
No.
Right.
They could get into that nice, slow and carefully and see what it is. Because I mean, you don't see anywhere else on the mesa. You don't see any large roundish boulders that would deflect the drill bit like that.
No.
So it, to me, that might, if all else fails, I might go back. I might have Jan come back and try and scan the face of the mesa again, because that's still within the slope of the mesa.
Absolutely.
They're not even close to the flat part. So go back and take a look at that and just pinpoint one and find one that's the closest. Maybe that's the closest. If not, if there's a closer one, even better. And then just kind of slowly scrape your way in. If you have to reinforce things, so be it.
Yeah, I mean, it would take a lot of work.
Yeah,
it would have to be done so
slowly,
meticulously and slowly. That would be the only way to do it. And Robert has a good point. I mean, the oil field is right there.
Yeah.
So there's no telling what could be.
Yeah, I agree.
What that gel could be.
Yeah, and you know that they'll get it tested, and we will hopefully find out at some point. They'll tell us, but yeah,
stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Right?
Of course.
Often enough.
Stay tuned.
Oh, so anyway, so that's.
I hope they get into the mesa and it's just a sign that says "Stay tuned" that's been left for them.
Oh yes, wouldn't that be funny?
That would be.
They go in there and they find a back door to Robert Bigelow's place.
Yeah, they've been Truman showed. I guess double so.
Oh, the Truman Show. Oh, thank you, Craig. Appreciate that. Still TDY Germany, flying home Saturday. I watched the stream on the plane on the flight home. There you go. Thank you so much. Appreciate that very much, Craig. So yeah, we'll see, but they're going to keep at it, and we'll get to get more info as we go along. Next in the show, they head out to the Triangle, and of course, they bring out Tim and New Salt Laser. Tim and the guys, and they're going to. They got more. Now they have 8 lasers, and they're more powerful than the ones that they had out there last time. As soon as I saw that, I was like, all right, this is going to be good. So they come out here with their new laser space I just love saying that. Laser space cannons. Who doesn't? I mean, that's awesome.
My laser space cannon.
Up on the Mesa. Our laser space cannon.
My 8 laser space cannons.
I'd love to hear Eric, because he did such a spot on, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Travis. They've been around each other for so long. It's funny because, and I was going to say too, real quick, now that I mentioned Eric's name, a great show. Gosh, we had such a great time with Eric on the podcast that we did with him just a little week ago or so. And it's done very well out there. It's closing on 10,000 views. It's really doing well. I'm very happy about that. But he was fantastic. It was such a fun and informative show. I can't wait to have him back. We are working on it. It might be a little bit. We are working on it with this man in the picture right there, Mr. Pete Kelsey. We've all been talking about it. The 3 of us have been discussing it. But we'll see. As soon as we can get this locked down, they are both very, very busy people, as you can imagine.
You don't say.
Going into the summer months here,
Oh, so, right. I forgot. We're already in June. Oh my gosh.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
in June.
They're rather busy.
Yeah, so they tend to get kind of busy this time of year. So we'll see. We're working on it, and as soon as we can get this worked out, I would love to have we were talking about having the 2 of them kind of do. If any of you were at Phenomicon last year and you were able to watch the presentation of Pete and Eric together outside, it was great. They were talking tech, they were going through equipment, and it was awesome. The 2 of them together were just a really, really fun and very informative show. And I wanted to share that and have them kind of do that same kind of thing. So anyway, we will, shut up, Jim. I don't want to know that 2024 is half over already. So be quiet.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll let you know as soon as we can. That's why you need to subscribe to the channel and click on that notification bell so you know right when we get that thing scheduled. We will do so. Oh, and real quick, while I'm on a tangent right now, I'll just do this little tangent as well. Tomorrow night, I know that not everybody here is into Bigfoot. Okay,
Hey, I'm trying.
you're trying. I know you're learning. You're learning. But you need to tune into the show tomorrow night.
I'm working on
Tomorrow
it.
night, we have Dr. Jeff Meldrum is going to be with us. He is a professor at the University of Idaho State University. Fantastic. If you've seen his presentations, this guy knows his stuff, and he approaches this the legend meets science. And I've
Love that.
listened to his book, and his book is great. And it's all technical, but he goes there. It is right there. He goes through it.
Sasquatch.
Yes, he goes through it very, very. He digs
I
in.
love that you. I love that you have your coffee right there, ready. Yeah, your mug and your book. You're on top
never
of
far
it,
away.
Yes, I'm telling you, it's going to be a great show. So you're going to want to check that. It's tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern time, right here on the J Free 906 podcast. Dr. Jeff Meldrum. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to talk to this man. I really can't. I got a chance to talk to him at Phenomicon last year, but this is going to be really, really cool. I'm really excited. Anyway, all right, getting back to Skinwalker. Sorry about that. Yeah. So here's a picture. If you haven't already seen this many, many times, it's just a shot showing you where the triangle is in relation to the property, 512 acres. You see where they were setting up, and there's a closer shot. And kind of give you an idea. They're setting up right in the middle of the triangle with the laser space cannons, getting them all set up. And they're going to do the multicolors. And this colors, well, and I'll let Mike kind of take over on some of this here in just a moment, because one of the things that they were doing was shooting another light, and I wasn't sure. It's not a laser space cannon. It was a different type of light, I think. The one that they were shooting at the board, was that also a laser space cannon like the other ones, or was it? I think it was a little different.
Yeah, it may have been different, but it's still a laser, a visible laser.
Right.
So
yeah, and they were shooting it at that white painted board that Thomas had created, and they put up about 30 feet in the air, which you know what 30 feet in the air is for. If you've been watching the show at all, that's where the blob anomaly was seen. And so really cool experiment here. There's Thomas up there with it, and they were getting things set up during the day before night fell.
I want to know how he got down.
Well, he's on a cherry picker, so they got it attached to the basket of a cherry picker.
Right, but they put it up there, and then did they bring it back down, and he got out, and they put it back up?
Yeah, they had to.
Why did he go up in the first place? I don't know.
I don't know either, but yeah, but it was really cool. It was almost like they were getting ready to have an outdoor movie, a drive-in movie.
Drive-in.
Yeah. So, and then right off the bat, as soon as it gets dark, they spotted a UAP. I mean, right off the bat, it just barely got dark, and they saw it, and they watched this thing. And Travis remarked about this particular one, and he said that he thought that it was the biggest and the brightest that they had seen there yet. And it was pretty impressive. And it was slowly moving its way across the sky. They watched it with binoculars, everything else. It was not blinking. It didn't have traffic, blinking lights of a plane or anything like that. It was just meandering its way.
Just observing,
Yeah.
seeing what they were doing.
Yeah.
So just checking them out because they know they're
flying casual.
Keep it casual.
Yeah.
Keep it low key.
Yep, and there it is with one of the cameras that Eric has trained on it and watching it go across, and it was just making its way, and then it just disappeared. It was just gone, simply gone, as it got to the just out of this right here, right about where it is now. You saw it just fade off, and it was just gone. But yeah, again, so many different UAPs that they spot here. Just it's crazy, and also. This thing right here. I was looking at this. I grabbed this shot. Is that
a satellite
is that
tracker?
tracking
Mhm.
satellites? Is that what
It
that is?
looks like it does. So there is that looks like the a close up of they have a thing that's also space junk. It's like an overlay that you can look at all the active space junk that's around the planet. Although that looks a little clean to be space junk, and then the satellites and any other air traffic.
Right.
The space junk, I don't think we'd be able to see the planet. To be
You're
honest
right.
with you.
I can't believe, and it makes you wonder when you see something like that. It makes you wonder, how do they ever get a rocket up there without hitting something?
Yeah.
I
Oh, they've said that it's like we're basically just waiting for something it'll be a domino effect and it'll just shatter everything. And it's so dangerous for the ISS
yeah,
Mhm.
for all that junk to be up there. Anyways,
yeah.
yeah,
But
I think it's probably just satellites, right?
right. So
Might.
I thought that that's
Yep.
what this was, and the reason why I wanted to bring it up was because going back to that UAP, they're going to know if it's a satellite because of this. So, and when people say, "Oh, it's just a satellite" or whatever, and they poo poo what they're finding over there, they're checking these things, folks. They're not just looking up there going, "Oh, wow, it's a UAP," when it turns out to be a satellite or some other piece of space debris or space junk or whatever. They're constantly checking this stuff to make sure what they're looking at is not one of those things. So rest assured, they're doing their due diligence on this stuff. They're not just haphazardly throwing this out. I wanted to point that out. I mean, those of us who are part of the insider program, we hear them talk about these things all the time because they do
Mm-hmm.
explain that. Everybody else doesn't get to hear all of that. And I know not everybody can be a part of the insider program, but that's how we know. And that's why I grabbed this picture because I wanted to show that they are checking these things all the time. So just so you know. All right, there's that beam of light or that other space cannon shooting at this here. And what they're doing is they're throwing all these spectrum of light at the sea looking for variations, correct? Now you talked about this beam a little bit ago, Mike, and the different colors that were all
Mhm.
involved here. Is
Yeah.
it yeah, go ahead, please.
Did you get a picture of the spectrum that they showed?
Yes. Yes, I do.
So
I have that coming up here.
so
Well,
yeah,
this not this one, but yeah.
it was shooting all multiple colors um,
Mm-hmm.
through the different spectrums that laser light comes through. So the spectrum is the same Roy G. Biv that a rainbow is. It goes from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So the low end is the purple or violet color. That's around 400 nanometers. And then as you go up, it goes to blue around 500. Green is like 550 ish nanometers, yellow 600, and red is 700 nanometers. So the real question is what Travis was reacting to was how did that shift some of the colors to be more green? Green's kind of right in the middle. There you see, and the yellow numbers at the bottom are the wavelength or the frequency that they're at. So what shifts the higher end wavelengths down to be shorter? But I don't have a good explanation for that. That
It's
again,
also interesting combining that, having things shift to the green and having the green be missing, right? Like
yeah,
that's the
Yes,
only one that's
there's
missing.
yes. That's
correlation around that green color for sure.
Yeah.
right. Right. When they showed it powering up, and they have to power this up slowly because this thing is putting out some intense. You see, I think they're water cooled. I see them hooking up like hoses to them or something. I don't know if it's a water cooled or air cooled with cool air blowing into them or what. But I mean, these things I imagine get very very hot. But anyway, so they power them up and they slowly bring them up to full power, and that's you saw this if you're watching the show, you saw this spectrum and you saw it gradually, everything was coming up, coming up, coming up, and then all of a sudden, and that's what this was not quite complete, but according to what I think it was Thomas had said, or not Thomas, but Eric had said, is it basically once everything's powered up, it should be all of them should be up equal and height across the screen, right? Is that the way I understood what he was saying?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, you can see here where everything dropped out except for the blue and the green, and a little bit of that changing from green to yellow in here. Um, what it says say, I can't remember what exactly he said, but Chris Bledsoe once said that there was a significance to green light. Anyone else? I do remember him saying that, but I don't remember why or what that was. But yes, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing it up, Seth. I have to ask him about that. But why did it suddenly shift this way? And like Shannon, like you had said, that was the other thing that I thought of was you see later on that the green lasers are being affected.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing
Why
I
the
thought of
green?
when I saw the green, but the blue was still there, but sort of because it was darker, is, obviously red will cancel out green and it will make blue darker, appear darker. That doesn't explain this, but it did make me think about that when we saw the block out of like, oh, is that Mike has kittens in his room. If anybody's wondering what that sound was, I imagine that was a kitten. He's trying to compete with me for Beck's best
Yeah.
J. Freenet 06 cat, multiplied by 7.
Multiplied
By 7. So I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting because you can take those two things and they can. Oh, there you go.
Look at that.
Thanks. Look, there's a cat. Okay, you win for tonight.
But just for tonight.
Just for tonight.
Yes.
But those two things separately are interesting. Is there a correlation between the two? Was it coincidental? I mean, because trying to think about why on the lasers themselves, some of the green light would be missing, but the blue light that's there, it is slightly different, right? In color when you're looking at it. So you're like, what could block out green but not completely block out blue? Is it red? And then you wonder about how like the red did move, I suppose, on that scale. I don't know. I wish I knew more about things. This is one of those moments where I wish I had more knowledge.
Just based on that diagram, where the red was lower and the green was higher. I mean, you can kind of infer that somehow the red color, the frequency, so red is, like I said, 700 nanometers.
Right. Something
caused that wavelength to shrink to 533. Is that what the green line says there?
Yes. Yeah, 533 is this line right here.
Right.
Yes. Right in the
so
center.
533 nanometers. So it shrunk it from 700 and shortened it. And I don't know how you do that.
No.
This is absolutely probably incorrect, but I'm just curious because you'll be able to explain to me why it is incorrect, I'm sure. But let's say it's basically it's missing what it should have, right? Is that what you're saying? Like the red shrunk. It's not what it should be.
Yes. I mean, if you think of a frequency,
right?
You know, that the distance between the peaks should be 700 nanometers, and instead it shrunk up to 500 some nanometers.
So those 200 nanometers are
missing.
And then also we've got green that's got a block in front of it that could potentially be knocked out with red.
Yeah. Interesting, huh? How does that happen? We don't know yet. No. Hopefully Eric will be able to explain all this.
No. I mean, this makes as little sense as what happened at the end where the green part was missing.
Yeah.
Did this happen simultaneously or separately?
This was looking at the light they were shining on the board.
Yeah, we don't know because the pictures at the end that showed the broken laser beams, those were from the still image pictures that were long exposure.
Yes.
So we don't know what time exactly those were taken, and I don't know if they had this going the whole time. or if they did one and then the other. I guess I don't remember exactly seeing what they had going on at each time.
Yeah, like Lieutenant Columbo says, the frequency remained, the aptitude seems reduced. Yeah, I don't understand all of that much, but yes, I think that makes sense what you're saying there. So maybe that's the case. But I mean, again, you go back to the whole thing of why we just simply don't know what was causing that, and it's another one of those. Yeah, okay. I hate to say, yeah, it's another anomaly. Yes, it is. It's truly another anomaly because what would cause that? You take that and do this experiment probably anywhere else, and you would not get that. It probably would not do that. How many times have they done something like this? And it didn't give them that effect at all. So I don't know. I love this picture here. Just it seems like they're blasting something, with the laser beam. Let's just blow that away. Yeah, I imagine see this whole piece of wood catch on fire and start burning because they're blasting it with the laser. But anyway, so the shape of that thing. That's what Sethbon said. The shape of that thing at the end instantly made me think of the Watcher that Caleb saw. Oh, yeah, I remember that. So, all right, so you got this weird spectrum going on here. Yeah, and then you see them pick up the 1.6 gigahertz. And the direction. Now, Eric picked it up in the command center. And then Travis, and you heard Travis say, and this is why I tell you, folks, that we only get such a small portion of what they're truly doing out there for their experiments. We're only getting a small portion. We're not getting all the detail. Because if you heard Travis say, he has antennas pointing in different places. He said the one that is pointing, he goes, none of the other antennas are picking up the 1.6 except the one that's pointing towards Homestead 2.
Yep.
Now, how often have you ever heard them talk about having antennas pointed all over the place before? No.
Nope.
I haven't.
Nope.
So again, I go back to that point. They're doing so much more than we find out about. And so when people try to say, well, you need to do this, or you need to do that, they probably are doing that and this. You just don't know. But anyway, he talked about the one. Now, why would there be a signal coming from Homestead 2? And then Eric confirms it. And only that one. None of the other ones were picking up 1.6.
That's very odd that it's that focused.
Yeah.
I mean,
Almost
1.6 gigahertz is such a high frequency.
Focused.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Directed beam energy.
Yeah. So would the signal be ground based or air to ground? I don't know. I would think it would have to be very pinpointed for it to only be coming from that one direction. I'm analyzing. Oh, B. Jones, thank you. One was 111, meaning with good fortune, achieve goal you've been working on, or experience a new beginning. Wow, cool. Thank you, B. Jones. Gosh, you're so awesome. Thank you very much. What's your take on that? Again, none of the other antennas, so it can't be. Is it being sent to them if Eric picked it up too?
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It just, I can't wrap my brain around that. So if it's almost like it was coming from Homestead 2, or at least in that direction, and being aimed at them.
Right. But like you said, with the additional antennas, at least they're starting to zero in on where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, early first season, they tried to triangulate a little bit, and they knew that it was coming from above them. But that, there's, you never know as they were moving to get a different location, did the signal, the source move to? You never know. So having multiple antennas all at the same time is a good way to start narrowing it down. I feel like they're definitely progressing in their sophistication of equipment and
absolutely
trying to box this thing in a little bit. But it's just, I never know what to make of that 1.6. And that's a very, very precise one too.
That
A
one
lot
is
of times
very
it wanders,
precise.
but very precise.
Yeah.
Jim made a point about how he was surprised nobody. I thought at some point they said they were going over there, and then they didn't.
They
Did I
did.
mishear that? Okay,
Yes.
so they did. They said they were
They
going
just
over there, but
didn't
then
show it.
they didn't show it. I guess maybe there was nothing to show. I don't know.
Yeah. Pete got him waylaid and or squirreled him to go check out the rock.
Like, never
Instead.
mind, go to this rock. It's a distraction. Maybe it was a distraction so that they wouldn't
Hot rock.
go.
Yeah.
Ah.
Go check out the 1.6. It's like, look
Right.
at this hot rock over here in the field.
Yeah, we'll give them a hot rock to go look at. It's closer. They won't go to Homestead 2 and find whatever was over there. It's
Yeah,
again,
I
I don't
think
know.
it happened different times, but still, yeah.
I
And
I would too, Seth. I would love to spend the night at Homestead 2. Would you spend the night there, Shannon? Sleeping bag or a little
I
cot?
mean, I'm going to be really honest with you. The only thing that and this is probably very naive and very stupid for me to say, but I would be more concerned about the literal raccoons and snakes
Oh
and
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
spiders and various wildlife and buggery that's out there. Perhaps I should be more concerned about the other. I don't know. I
I'd do
guess
it. I'd
would be
still
the
do it.
answer. I wouldn't unless I had like a bubble to put myself in to protect me from the.
We could use a net. You could have a net.
Can I go glamping in the homestead? That glam camping deal?
You
Can
set
I do
up
that?
a great tent inside the building. Well, you know,
Dang.
ants,
Just
slugs. Yeah.
there's my bubble that's in there. I would be good. And then I could roll away if I had any issues.
The cows. Yeah, the cows.
I
will
would be
feed
the
the
next orb that you see floating about. It's just me and my bubble I've placed myself into.
cows. Yeah,
I don't
Lucy. Now
know.
you'll have Shannon float around there
That's
too.
right.
Yep.
What about Mike? Would Mike do it?
I would absolutely be happy to listen to what happened to you guys.
Okay. So he'll do it. I'll do it under the stipulation that I have a bubble and you'll listen in on it. I
Yeah.
think we have a plan.
I'd eat tacos in Homestead too. Yeah.
I would love to watch from the command center.
Oh yeah, there you go. On the
So you
camera.
would be the Eric in that
Yep,
situation.
absolutely. Perfect.
Yeah.
My bubble probably wouldn't fit within the. Oh wait, no, there's a whole missing side of the wall. So I guess I would fit. There'd be no excuse. If I had a
Yeah.
bubble, I'd go. I'll keep watching you, Jeff, and then I'll roll away very quickly if something goes south.
You wouldn't get on the walkie and say, Jeff, get out of there quick.
Sure, it would be like a hamster ball situation. That would be me on the walkie, hamster balling away from you
Yeah.
Oh, look at
in the homestead.
Yep. If you ever get an invite to camp on site, just remember I'm your tech
Tech
guy.
guy, yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yep. So it'll be me and Seth and Jim's bringing the tacos for dinner, and we're gonna camp out in Homestead too. Wouldn't that would be awesome? I would do it in a heartbeat. No problem.
All right.
I would do it in a heartbeat. I would rather
I-
have a cot than sleep on the floor, but I'd still do it.
Yeah.
I grabbed this picture here. This next one I grabbed because I just love the command center. I think that this little place here that look at all the TV screens. He's even got some way up here, on top
Yep.
that aren't even being utilized right now. This place is just so cool. But again, you see that, and I have another. He's watching the 1.6.
Yep.
And he's also here's that screen that had that
Still on.
moving orange line
Yep.
on it that moves around from time to time. I saw that several shots. It was in several shots.
It's always emanating from OP1.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's there. That's because you see that line change position, but
But
it's
the center of it's
radial,
always right here.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
the center is always on
Right here. in
OP1.
that spot. Yep. It's always right here. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Got to have
Ask him.
sometime what that
Just
is.
gonna have to have him back on.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. Got to do it. Got to do it. Yeah, there's Homestead too. Yeah, I don't care. I'd be out here in the front or in that room in the back or back over here. Don't matter. I'd do it in a heartbeat. So yeah, there it is. They're looking at the 1.6. There it's 1.599 at that point, but it was right dead on 1.6 earlier. But that was them looking at it there as well. Um, and then, of course, a shot of the actual laser space cannons, and they changed the color on them from time to time. They were all blue, no issue at all with them. And then they had Pete and Jim Royston flew a couple of different drones. I think Jim was doing the lidar, and Pete's was doing the thermal. They were flying over. We didn't see the lidar show up too much. It really didn't show much of what it was doing. But you saw Pete's with a thermal, and of course, we'll get to that here in just a moment, where he found that hot rock. That one rocket that they shot up in the air, definitely. And I grabbed this picture here because you could actually see it curve. And you heard Travis say it made like an S. And if you look at the smoke trail, and I tried to grab the smoke trail, but it was, I made several attempts and finally gave up and just settled on this one. But it did. The smoke trail left like an S flight in the smoke. So it did do that. Why? I don't know. And not being someone who gets to shoot rockets every day, I don't understand that. Sometimes your fins on them, and they probably have a special name for those little fins on the bottom for guidance and stability. Probably have to be exactly right, or it will veer off. They reuse these things quite a bit, put a new engine in them, so a lot of times it might crash, and I don't know. But it appeared to them that it made an S pattern as it flew, like it was going around something. So could something have been affecting it? Yeah, maybe. Don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to tell from just one vantage point.
Yep.
Because it can veer in many different directions. And unfortunately, I mean, the easy thing to do would be, to put a GPS on the rocket, and then you could trace it and see it in 3D and see the path. But that hasn't worked out very well so far.
Hasn't worked out very well.
So I don't know how you show. All you can do is go off of the fact that Mr. Rocket City Redneck has shot so many rockets off that if it's not doing something it should, and he reacts that way, then something's wrong. Something's happened that caused it to do something unexpected, or that he wouldn't normally expect to see happen.
Yep, exactly. And he would know that. Are you seeing the question why the rocket deflected and not the lasers? Well, the lasers are being messed with, and we'll see that here in just a moment. So, but maybe they are being deflected in a different way. But we'll find out. But one thing I thought too, with these laser space cannons. Again, I love to say that. But what would that look like from the ISS? Can you imagine?
Oh yeah,
you can see them from space. I mean, they continue. Don't the light just continue into space on forever?
Yeah.
So
the ISS is like, those guys at Skinwalker Ranch are doing stuff again.
There they go again. And if they fly by, if the ISS goes by, it might light it up when it's up there.
They're like, if only we could tell them, we know what the secret is. We can see it from space.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, I thought about that. I thought, wow, I wonder what that would look like from the ISS going over and seeing those lasers shooting up off the Earth's surface. That would be really cool. Yeah, you're right. I hope the ISS was told that they could expect to see it. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. So anyway, I know. But anyway, so there's the image that Pete got, the hot rock, and you can see it right here in the center of the picture. And these other ones, it's definitely hotter than. I mean, there's a few other faces over here that are lit up on the face of the mesa, but that one rock down on the surface is definitely showing more heat signature than the rest. I mean, look at these here. These are all big rocks that are laying down there, and yet this one is so much brighter. It's significantly hotter than the other ones, or reflecting back the thermal image like that. And that's what squirreled them to keep them from going to Homestead 2 and finding the 1.6 gigahertz signal. So anyway, so Travis and Dragon jump in the Jeep and head on over. There's the Jeep. You can see it right here in the corner. And they head on over to the rock to check things out. And I thought for sure as soon as Dragon walked up and put his hand on, he was going to say, "Wow, this is really warm." No, they didn't say anything. They didn't see anything. They didn't find anything. There was nothing notable.
They were like, "Yep, here's a rock. Time to go."
Yep. Big old rock.
Yeah, big old rock.
I
It's
want to
one-
see them drill into it to see if it's
do
special
too, man.
rock.
Now that you mentioned that, I'm all about that now. Crack that baby open and find out if it
That's
really
right.
is a rock. Why
Yeah.
is it holding so much? Yeah, it was a nothing burger from that point of view. But I mean, why? Why was that rock hotter than the rest of them around it?
Yeah, it would have been good to see it in daytime.
hmm
Because if it had that, the desert varnish, as they call it, and was dark, it
hmm
would have absorbed a lot more sun,
True. Very true.
energy from the sun, and maybe heated up more than the stuff around it.
Very good.
So maybe we check that first and then we drill into it.
Yeah. Look at that. Take pictures of it first in the daylight and then drill into it.
Yeah.
I would have expected them to at least take temperature readings from it and the surrounding rocks to get accurate.
Maybe they did.
They might have, and it might have been what we didn't see. You know?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they put a
should have
lot
been
in
able to
this
get that
episode.
off. The thermal would have told them what temperature it was.
Shannon, tomorrow night, they're doing a Q&A tomorrow night, right?
Yes, they are.
Let's put that question.
From 9 to 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's put that question in and ask, did you guys thermal that rock or, to get a temperature on that rock? Did you do any kind of testing while you were there or
Yeah.
just put your hand on it?
That's right. Just put your hand on it. Nope, not hot. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
It's a
We'll
rock.
find out. We'll let you know next week what we find
It's
out.
a rock.
It's a rock.
Confirmed.
Yes, confirmed.
It's like,
That was
I'd
kinda
like to.
funny.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was kind of funny when Dragon said, "Yeah, all right, we're at the rock. Yeah, nothing to see here. We're leaving now."
I think it was a perfect job for Dragon too, because it fits his vibe. He's like, all right, yep, rock, let's go.
Yeah, the rock.
I'd like to see it though on like the map where that
Yeah.
rock is specifically from an aerial perspective and
Can we see it?
the proximity it is to everything else that was going on at the same time.
Oh.
Or like, yeah, I don't. Do we have a general idea
Is
as
that
to where
over
that
by the
is?
East Canyon? I think it is.
I don't.
Look at
I
the
don't
way.
think so. They were right around where the lasers were, and I thought Pete said that it was kind of near where that UAP came from the Mesa.
Out of the Mesa, so that would be
Hmm.
well. That would be very close.
Fairly close.
Yeah, I think it would be very, very close to where they were. I think that the triangle is
Yeah.
probably just back behind because you see which way the Jeep is pointing.
Jeep.
So they would have driven from the triangle over to this area and then had to turn around and go back. Pete said the exit point. Right. Yeah, exactly.
So right there is the exit point.
Right
The
in
rock?
this area. Yeah. Right. This
Interesting.
area is where it came out. So yeah. Somebody left the door open and
Let's say we're hightailing it to the rock.
we gotta ask questions about the rock in the Q&A.
Yeah, we're like, nothing else matters. Just tell us about the rock.
Tell us about the rock.
Tell us about the rock.
Yeah. So there was some sort of, they were showing the temperature of some of the other rocks, and obviously that one was definitely warmer. Okay, now I'm going to be a little critical here for a minute on the ranch and the experiment. And this was something that somebody had brought up in Reddit that I read. And Travis, when they shot the second rocket and it veered off kind of on an angle toward the east northeast. When they first set it up and they slid it onto the rocket launcher, it was straight up and down. But you see here in this picture, it's not straight up and down anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I will say this for me not being there when they were shooting this thing off, or maybe it's a trick of the camera or whatever that makes it look like it's not straight up and down, that it's tilted. But you see here in this picture here, as it launches, that's it right there.
Yeah, it looks pretty tilted.
And it's tilted.
Yeah.
It's tilted. And when it took off in an angle. And I wasn't there. I didn't, but from what I can see here, that's why it went off on an angle, because the launcher was at an angle. I'm just throwing that out there, folks. I hate to be critical of what they're doing out there, but this looks like a sign to me. And they said, I don't know how many rockets they launched. Maybe this isn't the second one, or maybe they shot more than two. I don't know. They were out there for hours. a lot of times they finish these experiments up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So um, I just happened to catch that, and then I saw that Reddit post, and I thought, yeah, I have too, Kat. I've noticed that a lot of them are kind of at an angle. Yeah. So anyway, I just wondered if this was the reason why it shot off at an angle like that. So
Yep.
again, it's one of those things that hopefully I'll get that question in to the guys. This one didn't swerve back, Barbara. This one, when it shot off at an angle, and it went straight, and it didn't. Matter of fact, I think. Well, it does have a little bit of a curve. You can see a little bit of a curve in it right there, but that was it going up, and it shot straight off at an angle. So, um, yeah, maybe they did to see if it would do the same thing. I don't know. Faulty fins making them veer off. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, Gordon. I said that too. Yeah, I don't know. Um, if those things when they hit the ground, they might get bent a little bit or whatever, and that might make its trajectory make that S or something. I don't know. And again, we go back to that same question about the guys talking about, why do they keep shooting so many rockets? And people are making comments all over the place, and there's kind of just stupid rockets. So they do it because it gets a reaction. And every time that they shoot, well, I say every time. I don't know that it's every time, but they make it sound like it's every time they shoot rockets out, they get some sort of a reaction. So a UAP shows up, or 1.6 starts going off, or something happens. They get some sort of reaction. So why not do it? If you're kicking the hornet's nest, and the hornets come out, and and that kicking happens to be shooting a rocket off, you betcha I'd be doing it every time I'm doing an experiment. So I don't know. That's just my take on it. Maybe I'm full of it, but that's my take on it, and I would
I
do it
mean,
every time.
I think especially since you have a rocket guy too,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Repeatable. Thank you, Linda.
Mhm.
Repeatable data over and over again. Yeah. It gets a reaction, so keep doing it. That's my feelings on it. They also had a slam scanner going too. I didn't notice that until they showed this picture, and there was Caleb holding on to that. That's the one Pete's used. I'm sure that's Pete's, and um, but again, we didn't see any data from it. Um, hot rock. Oh, how did Robert get that so quickly?
he's so good.
He is quick on the draw.
That
Yes,
is the
he is.
coordinates for the hot rock. All right, and now
Robert, any chance we can ask you to add that to our map?
yes, put that on our map.
The hot
Robert.
rock.
Please.
Put that
Hot
on
rock.
the map so we can all look at it in the daylight and see what rock
Say
that is.
brown socks, hot rock.
I love my map of Skinwalker Ranch. Yes.
We love your map of Skinwalker Ranch as well.
I think they should shoot more rockets off the roof of the Jeep. Yeah, I know.
As they're
Yeah.
driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Devil's Tower location. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, the slam scanner was going too, but like I said, we didn't see any of that data. Maybe they'll show that coming up or from Jim Royston's drone that he was flying with the lidar going, and we didn't get to see that either. Here's another picture I grabbed of that. That's that screen right there. You
Mhm.
see that Eric's has in there with that laser, that beam coming off from it. I want to know what that is. What is he tracking with that thing? I don't know. We'll find out.
That looks similar. That beam that we just saw on that map looks similar to what was across that globe in that one screenshot that you showed.
Yeah. So maybe
Mhm.
that's some sort of a tracking device of some sort, or like a little mini radar going on or something.
Maybe that's how they track the ISS. I don't know, but that looks like the same thing that was on the other map because it had all that debris around it, and then it had a red
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
line through it.
I'm gonna have to
Maybe
go.
they're just tracking something.
I'm gonna have to go look at that now because you brought that up. I'm gonna have to go see. So, well, we'll check that in a minute here. I want to move on. Okay, so the next shot. What was this here? Oh, this was the analysis the next day. over at the command center. And everybody gathers in here with Jim and Pete and everybody, and they are looking at this right here, which was the highlight, in my opinion, of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You see that the green beams are being blocked. Even the one in the back is being partially blocked, not fully, but partially blocked by whatever this is.
And
Now,
see, when I made my comment about the blue being darker, I was referencing not the middle one, but the other one. I was imagining if it was like two separate things, since when you zoom in on that really close, you can see where the blue is interrupted a little bit. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like how there's a little bit of a change right there in the blue.
right here,
Yeah.
this section,
Right.
yeah,
And the missing
Which
section
makes-
of the green. Yeah.
Which makes me feel like it could be two separate things, since it doesn't do that to the other blue.
right. You're right. No, they said, Coach, you said this was about 100 feet. It was about 100 feet up. They said all three were about 100 feet up. Gordon, I don't know if the astronauts could see it. That's what I was talking about earlier. If they could see it from the space shuttle, the ISS. Probably. I would imagine that the light just, it doesn't stop. It just keeps on going off into space. They would.
You know what?
Direction.
If we were to split this in half and layer them on top, the darkness that's in that blue that's missing from behind the green would almost exactly match the black on the green side. Like you can literally see where it's curved up. I can't show it to you because I'm pointing, you can't see it. But it's curved. If you see the dark, if you zoom in a little bit, I don't know if you can zoom in a little bit more, but you see the darkness that comes up on the other side, right where the one that's green and blue.
Oh, over here.
Over there. You see how the blue is darker? I'm still pointing and you can't see it. The blue is darker, but it curves down a little bit around that top part and the bottom part.
Yep.
Very similarly to the other side where it's black.
Over here.
Right. See how it does that little curve right around
right
the edge of that green, right past the line. That's right there.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, cone is
That would
very
mean that it's almost symmetrical, even if it were two separate things. That's really weird.
It is weird. And the thing of it is if you block the laser with something, it's not going to continue on the other side.
Yep.
So what in the heck could possibly interrupt the beam, but yet the beam is still continuing on? So it's not blocking it completely. Is it only blocking it from the camera view?
Yeah, the left side, you could argue that if you think of a laser as I have a laser right here because everybody has lasers, right?
What else? What do you have on your desk, Mike? So we need of all the things. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Show us your laser.
Inspector Gadget. So think of it like a fire hose, and the beam is shooting out straight up solid. So the part that's blocked, I could see how there's something physically between the beam and the camera.
Correct.
But that doesn't track to what you see on the right because it should have blocked the blue.
Correct.
As well as the green.
Camera. Right. Yes.
So how do you, and remember, this is a long exposure photo in order to be able to see this in the first place. Now they didn't say how long. I don't know that even matters, but you're I don't and like they pointed out, even more confusing is the shape of the ends. On the right, the green is rounded where it stops and starts.
Yep.
And on the left, it's a lot flatter.
Yeah.
Like there's something very boxy.
I feel like it's rounded on the right.
It's got a little bit, but not as pronounced as the right side.
I wonder though
an arc.
if we took this and put like a filter on it, if we could see it better, because there's such a clear difference in the color of blue on the right side.
Yeah.
Right. All right. We need somebody out there that has good filter software that they can run
That's
this through.
me. I can do
Oh,
that.
I'll send you these pictures and see what you come up with.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
So we got a couple more. Let's see. Now, when it was all blue and violet,
Everything's
or red,
Fine.
nothing happened there. But then you get it again here, and it's only partially blocking it, and doesn't seem to be affecting the green one on this side.
No, but you know what? When you put it like that, it looks like it could be in between the green and the blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the same spot where in previous season, Caleb was firing a green laser straight up, and it split and bent the laser.
Yes.
And even Travis saw it.
Yes.
Just green. That's so wild. Wow, that's I think one of the coolest things so far.
Like you were saying earlier, the green was affected in the one that they were shooting at the white board. The green was high. That's the question I wanted to ask, of the team, is that why is that green so prominent, but the other ones all got reduced? What is it about the frequency? And that's Maya brought this up last night in Discord when we were talking about watching the show. And she said the same thing. She asked, well, what is the frequency of the green and what is its relationship to, that frequency? Is there, have they looked at the frequency and tried to figure out what it relates to anything else that might be being affected? I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but take that frequency and then take it to the next level and find out what correlation it may have. There was one last one, and it was this one here.
Same. That would be a good one to overlay with the first one.
Yeah.
Because it's the same kind of chunk taken out.
Right. Send these screenshots so I can mess with them.
Yeah, I'll send them over to you. Yep. This one you see the rounded a little bit better. See on both the top and the bottom, you can see they are rounded more so. It's almost like somebody took a piece of black tape and just covered it on that portion right there, and it got part of the one behind it. But again, it goes back to that thing. What in the world would cause that? Is it just from the camera view? If it were, like Mike said, would it not then be blocking out the other colors? It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't differentiate between the green and the blue. But if you block it, it can't continue on. No,
it can't. So that has to be something that's actually in the way between the camera and that beam. I don't know that it's necessarily actually putting a pole in the beam. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's actually something in front of the beam between the camera and the beam that is blocking that. And remember, this is a long exposure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it snapped a picture and it just happened to catch, the beams were fluctuating or something. It can't be that. And it happened multiple times. So one time, like Eric said, that might have been kind of just fluky enough to disregard, but it happened in multiple spots, multiple altitudes, and at different times. So makes you kind of wonder so going back to that first picture, I'm going to channel my inner Seth again and get wild and crazy here. So what if we have a cloaked brick shape, something that's cloaked, and it's proficient at letting all light through, all wavelengths, except that wavelength in that 530 nanometers. And for whatever reason, they need to tweak the carburetor a little bit or something. And green just doesn't go through, and whoops, they got caught.
Mm-hmm.
Something to just block the green.
That sounds like exactly what Seth would say.
Right. I know. Thank you, Seth.
Yeah.
My daughter has come into the chat for the first time ever, so let's all pretend that I'm cool for a second. All
All
right,
right.
Well,
guys.
but that's not hard to pretend. I
Thank you,
mean,
Mike.
You are very
Thank
cool.
you.
That's why
Thank
you're
you.
here.
And I'm not paying them to say that. I promise.
No.
No, that is
look at
very
Robert
Seth-thing.
go.
I know.
Those looking at the
Thank
Hot
you,
Rocks. Oh man,
Robert.
he's already
You're
He's
the
a
got it
best.
done.
machine.
He's already got it done. Can you believe this guy? Green
I
screen.
can believe it. It's Robert. He's awesome.
Oh, look at that. Shannon is the coolest.
Thank you, Ashley.
But sir, oh, that green screen effect the barber brought up. That's interesting. Like a green screen. I've used those before. Bring out your own fan club. Indeed. Yes, she has the Ritz. Yeah. Bring it on through. Yep. But yeah, so I don't know. This is going to take is Eric going to come back next week and explain all this to us? I'll bet
I hope so.
I would love it if he did.
That would be
Me too.
fantastic.
That would be
That's what.
fantastic, but again,
What if we
why
get a big stay tuned is what we'll probably get on this one, because I can't imagine this is done with for the season. We're only
No.
6 episodes in, and we have
Yep.
a long season, and this is pretty wild.
It is very wild. It is very wild. It was a highlight of the show, in my opinion, because it just can't be easily explained. It can't even be explained difficultly. I mean, I don't know what to make of this. Again, you look at all the different aspects. Could it have been because of something blocking it? Well, why not? Why didn't it block the blue from the camera angle? So many different things about it. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
I
It
don't know.
doesn't. I'm anxious to put it into a program and mess with some of the colors to see if anything else comes out.
Yeah, they are going to do it again. You heard them talk about it at the end of the episode in the command center there. Yeah, Eric, pick up on line 3. Yeah, where is Eric when we need him? Right? I know. We do. Yeah, we really do. I don't know. I'm just baffled. There's all 3 of them together. And he said they were all about 100 feet, roughly in that range. You can see that it was time lapse because you can see, look at these stars back here and the movement they had over the time that it took to take the picture or the exposure. Yeah, I just baffling, absolutely baffling. But you see, when I keep talking about the fact that these guys are getting closer and closer to being able to detect this anomaly on a regular basis. When they hit that golden whatever it is, now they're getting closer because now we're seeing things being affected, the laser beams being affected in green. Once they figure out how to detect this thing, oh man, what's going to happen at that point? It's going to know. I keep talking, and we talk about it being an intelligent living. Is this some sort of an intelligent anomaly that is constantly thwarting them, drilling into the Mesa and stopping them? But first it was 140 feet. Now it stops them at 40 feet.
I don't know. I feel like if that were the case, then the 1.6 wouldn't be happening and this wouldn't be obvious, right? Like if it's intelligent enough to thwart in the first place, it would perhaps not be broadcasting at 1.6 or obviously showing up here. I don't know.
Unless that's the part of the distraction.
Right.
That's part of the distraction, right? Yeah, right. Very possibly.
Look over here. Don't look over here. Look over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't go to Homestead 2.
Yeah.
Go look at the Hot Rock.
Look at the Hot Rock.
Yeah, go look at the Hot Rock. Exactly.
Now look at this Hot Rock over there.
Yeah. That's a good point, though, Ron, what you just said. What if the green laser is fine, just the frequency changed at that moment from green to black? I don't know. But you know that Eric has to be scratching his head trying to figure this out.
He
I'm
looked borderline excited though about the challenge of reverse sort of
Yeah.
Yeah.
like creating
Yep.
the issue himself, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And like I said, they're going to do it again. They're going to come back out, and they want to get the guys back out with the laser. And I think he said only this time they want to shoot one. I
Just
don't know.
green.
The green.
Yeah.
Just a
Might as well.
giant. They
A
should just
bunch
do
of
a
them.
big, giant green one, a big, thick one, to see if we can see a shape in the middle of it.
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
It's absolutely crazy stuff. It really, truly is. And that's why, and again, you guys, everybody that's been watching right now, you've heard me say it 1,000 times that this show is just so fascinating. That people, when they tell me that, oh, they don't ever find anything, it's all just a bunch, they're making it up, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, 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 no. I disagree 100%. If you watch this show and you really pay attention to what's going on out there, this is fascinating stuff. And I think that they're approaching it the right way. They're throwing all this tech at it, using the rockets that seem to be able to kick the hornet's nest. But I think that they are getting closer and closer to being able to come up with a way to really see what this anomaly is and find it and be able to use whatever they can figure out to see it all the time or whenever it appears. Because I don't think it's there constantly. I think it comes and goes.
Transient. Yep.
Yep. I don't know.
Yeah,
Great
I agree.
episode, though. What
Yep.
do you think? I mean, was that your big take on it? Was the laser like mine?
Yeah. That was the jaw dropper. I mean,
Yep.
like I said, and even the color shift earlier on the white board. Like I said, that neither one of those makes any sense at all. There's just, you can't break a laser beam like that and have it continue.
And not have it continue. No.
So if there's something in front of it that's between the camera and the laser, why didn't it block the blue?
Right.
Yeah.
Any of the blue.
Was the green behind the blue? It looked like the green was in front of the blue. So that doesn't make any sense.
And it was blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green all the way around.
Yeah, alternated around. Yeah.
So it would have blocked the other blue ones if it was something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. If it were just the green being blocked out, I don't think I would have the same reaction to it being the green blocked out but the blue not in that same section.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's just, yeah, that's definitely for sure was the big takeaway from this episode for me.
A sentient, precognitive, non-human intelligence.
That's the word on the street anyhow.
Yes, indeed, Skyhawk. It sure is. That's man. I don't know. Our cats' names are Button and
Banks.
Binks
That's
Lee?
my daughter again. No, Lee asked my daughter what our cat's name were.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Mike, have you named your 7 kittens? Shall you name them after the ranch team?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
You don't-
you got Caleb and Eric and Travis. And,
Nope. Because if you name them, they end up staying. I'm not naming a single one.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to go find new
Well,
homes.
it's funny because you guys with the cats. I don't know what it is with the cats, but when we were up in Michigan just a week or a week and a half ago, and we found kittens that had been abandoned. Mother, I think, died. But we were there for 5 days and mother was not seen at all. And the runt was about to die. It literally was just, it wasn't moving. It was barely breathing. And Christina nursed them all back to life and back to health and got them where they were, moving around and eating and everything and doing pretty well and actually climbing all over her. As she was feeding them with, and they were too young to be weaned. They were really small. Anyway, they got saved. We brought them back here to Pennsylvania, and they are now on their way to. They had to be nursed for a while. Humane Society said, nope, we got to keep them. We got to, they're too young to be given away. So they're working with them, and hopefully, they will all find good homes here soon. So. And there were 4 of them. There were originally 5, and one came up missing before we left and never showed back up. And so we brought 4 back. So what is it with the kittens and the cats?
I don't know. Kittens everywhere.
Yep.
Oh, so yes, I know, Kat, right? I said the same thing, and she, but she did, and she was holding the runt, and it was not moving. It was not moving, and she had it wrapped up in it, and I thought it was dead. I really did. I said, Christina, I think it's dead, and she was, tearing up, and I said, I don't know. I said, let's do what we can to save him, and we did, and now the runt was running around. So there, you never know. So yeah. Okay. So, all right. Well, that's it for me. You guys, any final thoughts? Hey, is
Good
Jeff's
show.
license plate back? What?
Yeah, it was a great show. I'm excited to see the rest of the season. Again, this has been not like it's been jam packed. There's been
Yeah.
so much going on, and we're not even halfway through. We get 14 episodes. I keep forgetting,
Yeah,
right?
I think
Is it
so. Yeah.
14? So we're not even halfway through.
That plate. That's what he's talking about. This plate right here. I put it back up. It's a bicentennial Michigan license plate. It's right there.
Hmm.
There's actually a big picture that's going to go up on that wall. It's actually, you can kind of see it right here, part of it right there. It's an Oak Island picture that was purchased for me and given to me as a gift, and I'm going to have it up on the
Oh,
wall. So yes, then I'll have to put the license plate somewhere else. Maybe, no, I don't know, over on this wall over here or something. But anyway, all right. As I digress on that, it was a great show. And did Brandon Fugel not say that this season was going to blow our socks off?
yeah.
Yep.
But to be fair, he always says that.
Yeah.
We didn't know that for real our socks would be blown off the side.
Yeah.
Like he didn't tell us the degree in which our socks would be blown off. I
Yeah,
suppose.
exactly. Yeah.
That's the catch right there. Like this
Yeah.
has been, I feel like they've already done an entire season's worth of stuff.
It's been
And
intense.
it's
I
been
know.
intense.
It really
And
has.
it's just sort of like ramping up too. So
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, he started off the very first episode just hitting us hard with stuff and 2 experiments and continuing that trend, and it's great. I think it's really, really good. So,
yeah, for sure.
and I really think that the guys have really thought about what they want to do, and we're going to see a lot more cool experiments going um, as we go along here. So,
I agree.
yes, Zombie Driver. Yes, it will be. It stays on YouTube all the time, so you can go back and watch it as many times as you like. And folks, if you like the content of our show we did here tonight, please give us a thumbs up. If you would be so kind, it helps out a lot, and it lets us know how we're doing and if we're doing a good show. I wanted to show one last picture here, and in this one here, we see the cameras that are being put up all over the place, mostly by Thomas. But you see this one here? It looks like he drilled this pipe into this rock. That's what it looks like to me. So he drilled this big hole into the rock to set up this camera right here. Isn't that crazy? I mean,
Yeah.
the work that these guys put
Yeah.
in to get this figured out at on Skinwalker Ranch just goes above and beyond. It really, truly does.
And to reiterate what you said, it's them doing it. It's Thomas or somebody doing it. Like those guys are out there working constantly.
Year round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Year round. Yeah. Shoveling snow. We get to watch them shoveling snow.
And flip
But,
flops.
they're not bringing in outside contractors to do all this work. And most of the time, it's all,
Yeah.
Caleb
It's just
and
them.
Thomas and just them doing it. So my hat is off to these guys for the exceptional work that they're doing and putting on a great docuseries for us to watch and
I agree.
speculate about. So, all right. So with that, thank you folks for being here with us tonight. Mike, Owen, Shannon, thank you so much for co-hosting, and we will catch you tomorrow night if you're into Bigfoot. And I tell you, even if you're just thinking about Bigfoot, you really want to check this show out. Dr. Jeff Meldrum, tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern time, right here on the J3906 podcast. And with that, we'll catch you next time. Everyone have a great night.
Good night.